You know what this film teaches you? For the love of God, for all that is holy, do not wake up your grandparents and piss them off, because that just ends bad, apparently. The Visit. So, guys, gals, and everything in between, we are back here to review again today. A film that I did not expect to really come out. It just sort of hit. It was one of those ones from Blumhouse Entertainment, so I was like, cheapo horror movie? Let's do this. And then I looked at the credits. In the credits, I saw M Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. Okay, so I'll bite. M Night Shyamalan Ding Dong, to give you a little backstory, basically was a three-hit wonder. He made three great hits. He had Sixth Sense, followed it up with Unbreakable, and then did Signs. I believe that's the order he did them in. Either way, doesn't matter. Three solid hits in a row. This dude was on the fast track to being the next Alfred Hitchcock, Steven Spielberg, as were posted in Newsweek articles. And then all of a sudden, he started talking to plants, and it just sort of went all wonky. Every time I've gone into an M Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie, I've had no faith in it. But I decided to give it the benefit of the doubt because it looked just so wacky and zany that I feel like if anyone could pull it off, it would be the Shyamalan Ding Dong. How did this film fare after I walked out of it? Now, this is a tricky movie to review, so let me just try and do my best. Bear with me. So The Visit is basically a film about a young documentarian girl and her brother are going to meet up with their estranged grandparents who have never quite, they've never met. So they're like, well, let's go meet our grandparents. It's going to be so much fun and gingerbread and cookies and awesome. And because that's what grandparents do. They spoil you and make you feel like the world is amazing. So they're like, let's spend a week with our grandparents. And they're like, you know what, let's make a documentary out of it because we have to make found footage because our budget is so low and we're just going to make this cheapo found footage movie. Visit is sort of like a dark comedy horror. Not really psychological thriller. It does have those moments. But I do like that M. Night Shyamalan really tones it down in this movie in terms of what he has on screen and what's going on, because normally it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, yes, the concept is actually not all that ridiculous. The more you look at it, and that makes the plot all the more scarier. With M. Night Shyamalan films, there is the twist, as I like to say. My dad and I will walk around and be like, he's the twist! And that's Shyamalaning it. And the Shyamalan twist in this film, I will not give it away, because then there would be virtually no point. The twist in this movie is, like, it made my skin crawl. Props to Shyamalan. That is the biggest plus I can give him on this film. It was freaking creepy. The grandparents, they did a great job. The acting in this film was top-notch. With Shyamalan, it can either go really cardboard and hokey or amazing. And this one had really creepy, unsettling characters. The only thing I gotta say is that the kids, well, they did a great job. Where I was sitting there, I was like, man, you're actually getting me a little bit emotional here. I almost care. I really loved that they were acting, but at the same time, their vocabulary, it was like it was written by a screenwriter. It didn't feel like what kids would say, except for when this one kid would break into rap. It borderlined a bit too much, but it still worked. Now, where did this movie hit hard? And that is the creepy grandparents, and they deliver. Particularly the grandmother. She's fantastic in this film. She plays this just really creepy woman, and the imagery, I swear to freaking God, I have some of it burned into my head. Others, I'm like, why was that there? And I need to address another one of my problems, the found footage. Okay, I'm doing this section of the review in my found footage and documentary form, and yeah, I think it's really annoying and it gets really old when you're trying to watch the story, and all that keeps happening is the camera's moving, and they do this where they're like, hey, yeah, so I'm reviewing the movie right now, and I think that this is pretty cool. Do you think that's a good shot? Yeah, do you think that's a good shot? I think that's a good shot, yeah, because it's faster to do it this way, and if you screw up, then, you know, you have nobody to blame. You can be like, oh, it's found footage, and who cares if the audience is throwing up their goobers right now, because, oh my god, it doesn't even matter because it's found footage, so it's artsy. Oh yeah, so much art right now, so much art. And by the way, I don't know if you guys knew this, but you can cut on a swoosh, so all of a sudden, boom, new take. Oh, innovative. Ooh, where's Bruce Willis in this movie? Yeah, he's not here, because no one wants Bruce Willis anymore. Sorry, Brucey. Normally, I don't get bothered by found footage. One of my favorite films is Cloverfield. I didn't hate Quarantine or Wreck. I can tolerate found footage movies more than most people because it doesn't normally give me the motion sickness. But I feel like filmmakers use it as way too much of a gimmick, and it gets really annoying because they want to remind you they're making found footage. My girlfriend got a migraine. I actually got dizzy, and I was lightheaded when I walked out of the theater because the tropes that they used were so imbalanced. Now, mind you, I can watch Cloverfield on IMAX in first row and be fine. But the way they did it with this film was the way it was balanced. It wasn't all found footage, and it just kind of had this jarring gap between it, and that really took me out of the experience. That was my really big negative with the whole thing, because the found footage gets really freaking annoying. But in terms of everything else, the plot moves along. The movie's about an hour and a half, and the one thing that I have to say is it feels like 2 hours. You feel like this film starts to drag at about the 70-minute mark, and then you hit that moment where you're just like, what just happened? That was the Shyamalan I remember, where it just hit, and it hit hard, and it's memorable. And that is what Shyamalan used to do really good. And you remember, because I remember watching Signs way too young as a kid, and that scene where the freaking alien comes through the coal shaft, and it's like, I was traumatized, and still thinking about it, I'm like, it creeped me out, man. Boom, moment hits, won't spoil it, moment hits, and I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. And there were 1 or 2 moments with the found footage stuff where I call it paranormal activitying it, if you will. And they had a couple jump scares where all of a sudden I was like, bleh! Really? Really, movie? You were keeping it at an unsettling level because these grandparents are at a ridiculous level of uncomfortable. I mean, they're sitting there and they're just like, would you like a cookie? And you're just like, that's not normal, is it? And then because they're unnaturally, like, weird, then all of a sudden it just goes to this weird zone of freaking weird, and you're just sitting there going, now Shyamalan's just trying to over-Shyamalan himself. Like, he's out-Shyamalaning the Shyamalan, which therefore brings him into the Shyamalama Ding Dong territory. And he pulls himself out as quickly as he can, and what the hell is it with Shyamalan and water? This is not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination. But in terms of Shyamalan, it is a step in the right direction. Where Shyamalan was like rising, 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 then boom, and stayed down here. And now he's like, hey, I'm still here. Still here. And that's what I mean. Like, I went in, I watched it, I was like, the plot felt overly jumbled. I got some scares, I got some chills, I got thrills. I got what I wanted out of it, and I walked out of the film going, I got what I wanted out of it, but I felt like the movie tried to overthink itself and get a little too complicated, and there were some plot points that you sat there and you're like, that's not needed, you could have cut that out, and it had too much extra trying to fluff on it. But at the same time, this is Shyamalan's best film since Signs. Granted, it is not one of his best films by any means necessary, but it does give me faith in Shyamalan again. The Visit would be most enjoyed as background noise. Now, what I mean by that is that, you have a Halloween party at your house and you're all like goofing off, having some Halloween beverages. And there's that one guy in the corner who's sitting there and he's trying to watch the film, but he's trying to at the same time pretend like he's interjecting himself in the party. But everyone else is just not paying attention to the movie, but they occasionally look over and go, oh yeah, that's creepy. So yeah, unbalanced movie, guys, but it is a step in the right direction for M. Night Shyamalan. So, is it a good movie? Not really. Is it an enjoyable movie? Sure. But I'd say watch it as background noise with, like, a Halloween party. So, okay, guys, gals, and everything in between, what did you think? What is your creepiest old people story like? Did you ever run into that crazy old person growing up? Tell me about it. I want us to get weird in the comment section. Let's all get weird together. Why not? I love the comment section. It gets so fun. Okay, don't forget to like and subscribe. Love you guys.